Hi, second grade, Ms. Freivogel here. Today you will need a pencil and a notebook or a piece of paper. We're going to be discussing rearranging sentences today. Remember that you can connect two simple sentences with a comma and the words and, but, or, and so to make them longer sentences. You can also rearrange sentences or move them around to make them a little bit more interesting for the reader. Let's look at some examples. Raymond drew a picture in his notebook. Okay, to make the sentence a little more interesting, we can rearrange it. So to do this, we can take the second part of the sentence and put it at the beginning of the sentence. And we also need to add a comma. So then we have the second part of the sentence, which is in his notebook. We moved it all the way to the front and added a comma. So now our sentence says, in his notebook, Raymond drew a picture, which sounds a little bit more interesting once you rearrange or move parts of our sentences around. However, we can also rewrite the sentence another way. This also makes it a little bit more interesting. Let's look at one more sentence. We could also say, a picture was drawn by Raymond in his notebook. So from that, we just rewrote the sentence a little bit and rearranged it so it sounded a little bit more interesting. If you notice, the two sentences that come after our first one both sound a little bit more interesting. Raymond drew a picture in his notebook is kind of boring. So there are different ways that we can do it, whether it's moving phrases or rewriting just a little bit to make the sentences that we write a little bit more engaging and interesting for our audience. Okay, let's look at some more examples. Up in our top rectangle, we can rearrange words or put them in a different order to make a sentence more interesting. That's just what we did with our sentence about Raymond. Let's look at this example. Our class liked listening to rock music after lunch. A little boring. So we can rearrange the sentence by taking the second part of the sentence, which is after lunch, and moving it to the front. After lunch, our class liked listening to rock music. So it has the exact same meaning, but it's just a little bit more fun when you go to read it. All right, we have 4 sentences. We're going to rearrange the words in each sentence to form a new one and then rewrite the sentence together. Go ahead and number 1 through 4. We're going to do 2 together, and I'm going to see if you can challenge yourself and do the other 2 on your own. So because we are rearranging this sentence and we saw that there were a couple ways to do so, you don't have to have exactly what I have written, but you should be kind of in the same ballpark area. Let's look at number 1. The boys practiced the song in the classroom while the girls danced. So I already see one way we could rewrite this. We could say, while the girls danced, the boys practiced the song in the class. Right, we're just taking the ending while the girls dance and moving it, rearranging it to the front of the sentence. We could also say, in the classroom, the boys practiced the song. All 3 of these sentences have the exact same meaning. We did not change what meaning the sentence had. We just rearranged the words in it so that it sounded a little different every time. Let's look at number 2. As he played the song, Troy watched the dancers march in 2 lines. Okay, one way we could rearrange this, we could start with Troy. Troy watched the dancers march in 2 lines as he played the song. We rearranged the sentences. Both these sentences have the same meaning. We just rearranged or moved some of the words and phrases. Number 3 and 4 you may do by yourself Number 3, our class performed the song for the children on the playground. And number 4, we learned a new song about India from Mrs. Orza yesterday. Okay, go ahead, pause the video to get 3 and 4 done. Try to get at least one sentence. If you can figure out how to rearrange to get more than one sentence, that's great, but just make sure you at least get one. Go ahead and pause the video while you work on it and click play when you're ready to review. Okay, for number 3, when you rearrange your sentence, you could have said on the playground, comma, our class performed the song for the children. We just took the last phrase and moved it to the front. Yesterday, we learned a new song about India from Mrs. Oza. We took the second part of the sentence where it said yesterday, moved it to the front, rearranged it to say yesterday, comma, we learned a new song about India from Mrs. Orza. And just as a reminder, when we rearrange words and put them in a different order, it makes our sentence more interesting. So maybe the next time you write, try to see if you can rearrange your sentences to make them a little bit more interesting for the reader. I will see you soon. Have a good day.